Indonesia and Globy specifically, I saw the impact that you have. And once again, the borderless impact that you have.
Exactly.
And this is something great. And this is something that I like. And this is what kept me going. As I said, giving back to community and helping the people. And this is what I see you're able to do here in Indonesia. There is one aspect of Model UN that makes it universal, that makes it borderless, as you say. And that is the aspect of knowing how to communicate with people, the public speaking skills, negotiation skills, persuasive skills.
Sometimes to perfect is actually the obstacles. Is learning to speaking but not learning to listening. They're preparing their speech to GSL, but they forget to listen to the others.
Wow.
What is actually the point of this MUN?
The only purpose we have on this earth is to leave a footprint before we leave. And the best thing to do is to leave an impact. To leave an impact, you have to work on your character. And that's the most important thing. Please be proactive, ask questions, seek help and knowledge, embrace the challenges. But most importantly, cherish the experiences along the way.
Hi everyone,
Hello.
Welcome back again in our GM MUN Podcast. This is a new program, so I'm welcoming to you give a new program which I invite a special guest, a special speaker to sharing the experience. And today I have again special guest that maybe you're familiar of, especially if you're a family of GM MUN. Please welcome Roy El Badawi.
Hello everyone.
Amazing. Alright. So, to little bit introduce to you about Roy. Roy is actually the founder of the Global Gavel. Besides that, he is also taking a lot of time in international circuit, not only in the Lebanon but also in the US, right? In the especially Indonesia, he already joined GM MUN for 3 times, right?
Yes.
Jakarta, Jogja, Jakarta again.
Yes, sir.
Right, okay. But Roy, can you please introduce yourself more so people can know you better, please?
Of course. So to start, I'm an engineer in profession. So I started as an engineer. Did mechanical engineering as a background with economics. But all my professional background is different than engineering. So
Exactly.
in university, I joined MUN. I was very passionate about MUN. I used to like public speaking a lot and etc. And I used to compete in so many conferences abroad. And then it led me to be the president of the MUN club in my university.
All right.
This is how things started. And then back in 2024 is when all my chairing experiences started and where I founded the Global Gavel, basically.
That's the thing.
And I started traveling everywhere. I traveled to the US, traveled to Canada, all Latin America, went to Peru, to Panama, Brazil, Argentina, and then all over Europe. We started to establish ourselves there. So between Netherlands, Paris, and etc., Spain and Germany, then went to North Africa, to Morocco and Egypt, and all over East Asia. So, and now here in Indonesia, I've been with you guys for the 3rd time now.
Yes.
And chaired a few times in Malaysia. I went to Singapore, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So
Yeah.
I've been sharing a lot lately.
Yeah,
and,
Okay,
now
right.
everything's about
Right.
MUN around.
The one that makes me interested is actually most of the people that especially very passionate in MUN,
Yeah.
that not only 1 or 2 times doing MUN is international relations, political science, maybe English literature, but you're
Correct.
engineering, right?
Correct.
Let's start first how you get involved for the first time in MUN. You're engineering again. The context is you are engineering, which if I'm not saying not related, it's not really. There's a soft skill that, but you know, it's not like as related as international relations, something like that. How
Totally.
your first involvement?
So it's a very important question, and I always get this question. I'm like, as an engineer, why did you even join MUN? Like, it's not related to you. It's not related to your major. And although it's true, it's not related to engineering, but there is one aspect of Model UN that makes it universal, that makes it borderless, as you say.
That's it.
And that is the aspect of knowing how to communicate with people, the public speaking skills, negotiation skills, persuasive skills. And I mean, in any field that you join later on, if you're going to be an engineer, if you want to be a doctor, you want to be a chef, whatever you want to do in your life, you have to talk with people,
Exactly.
right?
Correct.
And I always tell everyone, whatever job you do, you have to sell, right? You want to sell a product, you want to sell a service, you have to sell yourself all the time.
Exactly.
You have to know how to talk, how to teamwork, how to team lead. And you learn this in MUN. I mean, as a doctor, you have to know how to communicate under pressure and under stress.
Exactly.
As an engineer, you have to know how to persuade, how to get the projects and etc. So you need these skills too. And anything you do, these skills are important to you. So MUN is really this sweet spot for any major in university that makes it relevant for them to join, relevant for them to come and learn, and ultimately have these soft skills that will teach you everything you need to know about your life, basically.
Okay, so in short, you join MUN in the first place because you want to involve has enhancement in your public speaking skills.
Exactly. So initially, I used to be very shy in high school. That's the real story.
So
And
you start when you are in the university.
Yes, in high school I used to be very shy. When I joined university at 18 years old,
okay.
which was already, it's not really late, but it was after the usual. People usually join in high school. In university at 18, I discovered MUN. And I was super interested in Model UN, but I was very, very, very shy.
Right.
I used to not be able to talk in front of 5 people in a room. I cannot. I used to turn red. I used to be shy all the time. So MUN was my challenge. This is how I challenged myself. And I started to give speech for 5, 10 people. Then a room of 30, then became a room of 500 in Jogja. And even I went to the headquarters of the United Nations in New York, where I talked with 2,000-3,000 people in front of me for hours. And now I do it for a living, basically. What started as a fear, as a phobia, became my job, basically. What I do for a living.
All right. Okay. So I can understand for the first time you join MUN, you want to enhance your skills. But what makes you addicted then? You join again. So what make it?
Very valid. So it's really when you see the impact that you can make on people. So once again, when I think of my story, what I did from the day I started at 18 until today, I see that MUN gave me a lot. But in reality, I didn't have this gate, someone to help me in all of this. I had to learn things on my own. So this is what really triggers me and keeps me going, to teach people how to do all of this. So I want to be this gate opener, this mentor to people, for them to learn. That's why all the delegates that I'm always chairing in conferences, they realize that although I'm their chair, but throughout the conference, I teach them also. I educate them. I tell them what's the best way to give a good speech and etc. Throughout the conference, I give these tips because I believe in the power of education. And I think the next generation is the generation that's going to change everything. And this is really how people can leave an impact. It's by giving to community. So I do my best to give back to community. And this community is going to be the one that's going to change the next community's lives and our lives too. They're going to make a huge impact. So this is really what keeps me going overall.
All right. But the thing is, you're still finishing your study as engineering, right? So it is the MUN impact like literally to your engineering study, or it's not really, it's like just two a different word.
So it is two different words, but they collide a lot because I can remember when I was in university, I used to travel a lot and I used to skip my exams sometimes because I used to have exams, right? But I used to travel like twice every month.
Yeah.
And when I'm traveling, sometimes I used to talk with my professors and tell them, oh, I'm sorry, I need to go to Yogyakarta, for example, you know? And I skipped so many exams and I used to do makeups all the time. I come back, they put me in their office to do the exam alone. So in one aspect, it affected my education, but in a good way because it made me carry a whole degree of mechanical engineering, which is a hard degree to carry in an American university in Lebanon, but also be able to do my whole academy in Model UN. So I had to balance 2 universes. And I'm very glad that I finished my degree basically. So I was able to finish the degree, did very well in my degree while balancing a whole universe of Model UN internationally, worldwide, basically. So that was great. It was hard to balance, but it was great.
All right, okay. Now let's talk about the GM MUN anyway.
Let's do it.
You're coming here for 3 times, bro.
Yes.
So 3 times. What make you coming back again?
And looking forward to many, hopefully soon. The energy that you guys have. So first of all, let me start with the region. East Asia is amazing. I loved East Asia, Indonesia. I was in Philippines. The energy that you guys have here is really phenomenal, and I love the people in East Asia. So this is what makes me come to East Asia overall. Now, Indonesia and Globy specifically, I saw the impact that you have. And once again, the borderless impact that you have.
Exactly.
And this is something great. And this is something that I like. And this is what kept me going. As I said, giving back to community and helping the people. And this is what I see you're able to do here in Indonesia. So the best thing for me when I came the first time, it was in October 2025.
Yes, correct.
First time I came to Jakarta, I was super happy and super pumped to see basically what everyone is doing, as we can see here in all the pictures.
Yes,
so
correct.
I'm super excited.
This is in Yogyakarta.
Yes.
Right, Jakarta edition.
Yeah, this is me here.
Yes,
wearing blue. Yes, correct.
In the middle with me.
And this is what makes me come back every time when I see the impact that you guys make here. And this is why a few weeks ago, when I reached out to you to even have a full-on partnership together,
Yeah.
is because I think there is a lot that we can give to the Indonesian and to East Asian community overall, because they deserve it and because it's a need that they need to have, basically.
All right. So, what do you think about the improvement? Do you think from the first, the second, the third times you're coming here, or even in overall, having a significant improvement in your point of view? Just tell me the truth. If you want to give me comment, critic, feedback, feel free to have it.
So I'm going to give the full transparency answer.
Sure.
And when you were inside, we were talking about it now here. Comparing the numbers between December, October, and today. And I was super happy to see the improvement. I mean, in December, it was already tremendous. We were like 550 delegates, something like this in
correct.
Jogja. Well, now we're almost 1,000, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, all 1,000 delegates.
Which is crazy, which is phenomenal. So, I mean, the numbers speaks for themselves. It's clear. If you we doubled the size, and as you see, when I say we doubled, yes, I talk with we because I consider that this is something I love to be part of. Also,
Yes.
I say we, and it's amazing that to see the international impact that Globy was able to make with the workshops, with the Global Millennial MUN,
Exactly.
and it's great. The volume speaks for itself, I think.
Yeah. Which you help us with the MUN workshop online like back then.
Oh yes.
With only promotions of I think 2 weeks,
Yep.
we have more than 100 delegates, which is one of the biggest workshop that you ever have. Am I right about that?
I've done several hundred workshops, but it's definitely a big one. Yeah, it's definitely a big one that we did, and it's amazing. I mean, I was super excited once you told me about the workshop. A few days later, when I opened the Zoom call, I saw there's 50, 60, 70, and I see the
Yes.
numbers going up, and then I was like, oh, 100 people in the workshop. That's amazing, and this is how you see the need. You see people want Model UN, and this is what people like. And this is what I really try to do in the Global Gavel also, to give back a lot to the people, because, I mean, on the one hand, people deserve it and people want it. And on the other hand, there's so much to give back. And this is what all the experience I've had from like 35 different countries,
Exactly.
from Harvard to let alone to New York and to all East Asia and Europe and Africa, the experiences I've had, I want to give them back. I want to teach the people to hopefully become better than me. My goal is people to be better than I am at my age. So for them to have a faster pace. So this is what I try to teach all the time in my courses and in everything I do.
All right. So you already interact with a lot of Indonesians youth like technically and the workshop and the GM MUN and also another youth around the world.
Yeah.
So if you can give me a honest comparisons, Indonesian youth, do you think good, so, or what they need to improve? In general, yeah. For sure, we have several people that are very good for sure about that. But in the general, what you think? Just give me honest one. That's totally
I'm
fine.
going to give you a very honest feedback.
Yeah.
There's one thing that I love about Indonesian people, and it's the willingness to learn.
All right.
And that's very
Exactly.
important, because it doesn't matter where you start. What matters is, do you have the will? Do you want to or not, right? So because it's good to be motivated. Motivation is one thing. Now, what's more important than motivation is the dedication, which is going to make you continue into something. Now, what I've seen is in the Indonesian people, it's the motivation, it's the dedication, but most importantly was the obsession towards really becoming better.
Agree.
And that's the key element for success for me. And that's what I teach the people, basically, who, if they would to be lacking anything, I want them to not be just motivated for a few days and not only dedicated for a few months, but obsessed for a lifetime in order to become better at what they're doing. And that's what I teach, and that's what I like, and that's what I've seen in the Indonesian market.
Right.
And that's why I'm here. That's why I come again.
Right. That's the positive side.
Of course.
Now give me a negative side. That's totally
you
fine. I
want
mean,
the tea. You want some negative
right,
side.
right. I mean, they need to know so
Yeah,
they can
look,
evaluate.
yeah.
Like, so that's the thing. That's our goal, actually.
That's true.
It's not necessarily mean we say as something that negative, and then we not like about it. But what we want to say is, this is a negative of your side in general. So please fix it, and we go better. That's the thing, it's right?
That look, to be very honest, I have a feedback now in my head, which is a constructive criticism
Oh, sure.
that I've heard so many times from the delegates coming up to me and asking me that this is a weakness they think they have. Just today in the morning it happened. So many delegates I have seen in Indonesia are too shy and afraid of judgment.
Agree.
Shy and afraid of judgment. And it is unfortunate because they have so many potential, so much potential. And just today in the morning, I had like at least 12 delegates in my committee out of the 130 who came up to me, and I told them, guys, you're good. Why aren't you showing this aspect? Because I know you're good. Some of them, I've chaired them in Georgia, for instance. And they told me, oh, the room is too big. I'm intimidated, for example.
I
Oh, I'm too afraid of the
see.
judgment. I don't want to make a mistake in front of people. And I tell them, guys, the only possible way to learn is to make a mistake and learn from it. You will never learn if you only do good things. If you only do good things, there's no mistake that is teaching you something. You need
Agreed.
life is hard, and life is going to teach you things. So when you make a mistake, cherish these experiences, cherish the mistakes, because they're going to teach you to continue.
Yeah.
And today I gave them a talk about this. I gave a full-on 5-minute speech in the middle of the conference, telling them, guys, we are all here to learn. I started Model UN. I was very shy. English was my fourth language.
Fourth language?
Yes, that's something I told them today.
Okay.
So originally I'm from Lebanon, so I speak Arabic.
Okay.
And then I learned French in high school.
All
and
right.
then afterwards, in senior year in high school, I used to learn Spanish, and then I learned in English.
I
And
see. All right.
I joined university. I was super bad at English. English was a hard language for me, but also public speaking itself was hard. So I come from Lebanon, which is an Middle Eastern country very far from here. So I had all the reasons to fail. I had no reason to succeed. I had nothing on my end, not even a mentor to help me.
Get it.
And I was able to do all of this and become much better at English. I'm in love with public speaking, and to do my whole academy to teach these to the people that you have to put yourself outside your comfort zone to learn. If you stay in your comfort zone, you will never learn. You will see people succeeding in life, and you're going to feel that you're always restrained and you can't continue, because you have to put yourself out there. And what I did today, by the way, is I helped some people, and they didn't have a speech that was ready. I helped them in a few speech, and I told them, go ahead and please give the speech. And I stood next to them, told them, don't be shy. I am with you. Let's stand together. I want you to feel the pressure of the room.
Yeah.
Told them, just stand. I want you to feel 100 people listening to you. Just how it feels. As a first time ever, as an 11-year-old, as a 15-year-old, just feel this. So it's good for you. This adrenaline is good. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Afterwards, you're going to like it. Afterwards, you're going to search for it. And then it becomes your passion of you. And then you become better. Basically. Success doesn't come overnight. But you learn throughout the way, basically.
Exactly. I'm really agree with that. Because I met a lot of students, right? So that's one of the biggest obstacles. They are afraid that, okay, I think I'll be wrong.
Yeah.
I need to really super have a preparation. That's the thing. Sometimes to perfect is actually the obstacles, right?
Exactly.
I'm agree with that.
Exactly.
Second, that's my opinion. Let's have discussions about this, right? Most of the students is learning to speaking but not learning to listening.
Oh, wow. That's something I said today.
Yeah, so the thing is, they're preparing their speech, the GSL, but they forget to listen to the others.
Wow.
What is actually the point of this MUN?
Yep.
That's what makes us different. Like, this is not only a speech competitions. We are actually a diplomacy competitions, or maybe I cannot say a competition, even a diplomacy conference. So we need to listen to others, giving the response, right? So I think it's also the weakness of most of the student. Again, this is not to make you, I'm afraid to join them, and no, but this is the feedback that you can learn on it. What do you think about that?
I literally gave today, the delegates who are watching us, they will know that I gave the feedback today. I swear, the same one. What I told them, guys, you prepared something at home. That's great. But when you come here, I told them, I feel there's a mistake that you guys are doing. You're standing, you're waiting for someone to finish their speech or to finish something and to say what you prepared. Tell them, guys, listen to each other. You have to adapt. You have to continue in developing your notes. Take notes in the conference. Understand what's happening. You are diplomats. Understand what's happening. Don't just sit down. Be ready with a speech, with notes and whatsoever.
Yeah.
And just wait for your turn and then say them out loud. Because we're just being robots. I prepared this. I say it on the mic. I prepared to say it on the mic. This is not the case. We are in a diplomatic setting. We're here to communicate with each other and so on.
Yes.
So, and this, I told them something. I'm going to say it now for the camera. The best piece of advice for a diplomat, and that's something I used to teach diplomats, by the way, in Europe and in the Middle East, you have to talk less, but say more.
Okay.
Talk less, but say more. And I taught a lot of diplomats this. Even ambassadors, I used to teach them this because, I mean, to be very honest, you can either talk a very long sentence. That's what I told them today. And this sentence could be 1 kilogram. or I want a very short sentence that could be 10 kilograms.
All right.
It doesn't matter the length of the sentence. What matters is the quality of the sentence.
Exactly. The
And
substance.
the example that I used to give sometimes, but people don't like it, is when I say, you know who are the people who talk a lot but say nothing? It's politicians sometimes. They talk a lot and they say nothing. Right? So I don't want you to talk a lot and say nonsense or not no quality. I want you to talk a little bit. Talk less, but say more. Say more qualitative things. And that's what I teach the people too. And this is the essence of everything. Listen. First, you listen. The best public speaker is the best listener.
Exactly. Agree with that.
The less you talk, the better you are. The less you talk. Learn to listen, read the room, understand the people, and then gather your thoughts and you say what you have, and it's going to be quality and people will listen to you. And also, some delegates struggle to be listened. They tell me, oh, I'm not being listened. People don't listen to me. They are shouting over me. Well, if you listen to everyone, you look at their weaknesses and their strengths, you understand how things are going.
Yeah. It's
You
part
will
of strategy anyway.
It's part of the strategy. And then you deliver what you have. This is how you win. This is how you succeed. This is how you dominate. By being the smart person. This is the wolf. You just sit down, you realize, you look around, and then you go ahead and you do your thing.
Right. So, but after you giving the feedback to the
Yep.
delegates, is that any improvement from them?
Honestly, yes. Most of them, but not all of them.
All right.
Most of them, I see the impact. But the problem is something. Let me talk on the bad side first.
Okay.
Which is not a bad side, which is an area for improvement, I would say, is a lot of delegates, I give them feedback. And they tell me, oh, yes, I agree, and thank you for the feedback. And delegates get super excited to get feedback. They always run to the room, wait to stand in line to get feedback from me. And then I tell them, guys, you are so excited to get the feedback. You wait in line and everything, and you take your photo and your feedback. But I'm not seeing improvement. I mean, you're so excited to get this feedback. Why aren't you using it? And sometimes this is what I feel. I feel like delegates get the feedback, but they don't use it. But that's not all of them. This is a very small minority, by the way. The majority are making use of the feedback because they're here to learn. They came here for a reason, to learn, and they are learning. And what makes me, by the way, very happy is every single time you're doing a new conference, let's say now the one in October, also, and etc. Delegates sometimes text me and they're like, "Oh, we learned so much from you. Are you coming again to Jogja and etc. or to Jakarta?" I had parents today telling me, by the way, that there are delegates here who I was their chair in December, and they told me once they knew they're coming, they were super excited. They wanted to be in my council, and this makes me happy. This makes me very happy because it shows, and we talked about this before, also you and I. It makes me happy because it shows the parents are seeing the improvement in their kids, because the improvement is also outside the classroom.
Exactly.
The improvement is in your house, the way you talk, the way you communicate, in your classroom with your friends, and so on.
Yeah, that's correct. So, guys, actually, the message of the thing that you can get from these conversations, actually, no matter what happened to you, no matter how is the quality, we're not just on that, but what we want to have is giving you feedback, giving you evaluation, so you can improve, right? To join more MUN, improve it. Join again, improve it. Because actually, I agree with you that you previously mentioned that everything is need process. Right. My first MUN awards is my third MUN. It's not my first MUN, not my second MUN. It is the third MUN. Even I can do drafting. Do the draft resolution. It's my 10th MUN. Before that, I never have it. But what I always do is learning, always learning, listening to the feedback. What is the feedback? Learning from the checks, from the other delegates. Right. But I want to know about you. When is your first awards in MUN? It's like your second MUN, your third MUN, your first MUN already get awards.
So, are we talking international or national award?
Your literally first awards.
So, okay.
Difficult questions.
No, I remember it.
Oh, okay.
To be super honest, my first ever conference, it was in 2021, I think. It was in my university.
Right.
Not only it was national, it was just in the campus, in my university, for only the students of the university.
Okay, so it's only in campus.
On campus. It wasn't even national. It was like just university level.
Okay.
For my university only. I remember it was my first conference ever. I ended up winning this conference. However, an important lesson. I was super motivated. I thought, I got it. I'm going to win always. Second one, I lost. I didn't win the second.
Yeah.
And I was surprised. I was like, I won the first one. It means I'm going to win all the, and I lost, which was an important lesson to me. I ended up not winning the second one. But that taught me a lot. I wanted
the second one is external MUN. So technically you compete with other school.
No. Second one was also in my campus. We were getting trained to go internationally. did my second, did my third, did my fourth on campus, then did the national ones. And then came a time in 2022 where my university selected me to go to New York. It was my first ever international experience. And I went all the way to the headquarters of the United Nations in Manhattan, New York. And it was my first ever international, and it was huge. It's called the NMUN, National Model UN. We were like 3,000 students in total, or like 4,000 students. It's one of the biggest.
4,000 students.
Yes.
How many delegates in one council?
It's a double delegation. So it's like 150 countries, but that's 300 delegates.
Okay, we will talk about it later on. Yeah, okay. So continue about.
And I remember being in UNEA. We were 300 delegates in the room. It was so overwhelming. Exactly. It's my first international ever, 300 people in the room. But I thought of everything I've learned and what MUN taught me so far, and we worked very well. It was a 5-day conference.
5 days conference.
Yes, it was.
I mean, like 5 days is including the opening, closing ceremony.
Yeah. So on Thursday,
or like
correct.
conversations.
First day you have the opening. It was on Thursday.
Okay.
You have the opening only, and then you have a 4-day conference. And the fourth day after the conference, you have the closing.
Yeah. Same with me in Paris.
Yeah, exactly. So the exact same thing. And I was super happy because we ended up winning this conference. We won Outstanding Delegation Award, which was like we ranked the top honors out of 160 universities who participated. My university ranked in top honors. And this is where things started. 2022, 2023, 24, 25, I went to New York every time, and we used to win Outstanding Delegation Award. Ooh. And then came the whole thing. I went to Harvard, went to Peru, went to Panama, and then we started the whole track, started to travel more and more. And this is how things started to kickstart. I used to come back to my campus. People started to recognize me from Model UN. I used to be the MUN guy, although I'm an engineer. People used to know me as a mechanical engineer. Now they know me as, that's the guy of MUN in Lebanon. And I went on national television also when I came back to my campus. Yeah. They asked me to go on national television to talk about my exposure, what MUN is bringing me. And I went on national TV, and people started to recognize me even more. And it became a whole living. It became who I am. And I never thought that a small activity on campus that was just for me a challenge of fear of public speaking became a passion, and then became a job, literally. So this is also teach the people, when there is a will, there is a way. When you are motivated, dedicated, and obsessed with something, you can get it, whatever it is. Whatever it is. I had all the reasons to fail, man. Okay. I had all the reasons. Language barrier, coming from Lebanon, a third world country, with all the wars and all the problems happening in my country, and doing mechanical engineering as a major. No reason for me to succeed in this, but I was able to destroy the Middle Eastern market, and thank God, to do very well.
All right, this was amazing. Okay, now going to our topic, we're talking about the winning strategy.
Yes.
So for sure, I agree.
The important thing, winning.
Yeah, for sure, I agree that like the preparation, ambitions is part of the important things.
Yeah.
But the thing is, ambitions without the strategy, I believe it will be nothing. Especially if the context of the high levels one. You previously mentioned that you compete with 300 delegates in one council, which also much obstacles in the context of in Indonesia's context, because usually in MUN at national levels we only have 30 to 40 delegates, but in the context GM MUN, because we are one of the biggest MUN in Indonesia, we can have 130 delegates. So can you please check the strategy, how if we in the big council, which is more than 100 people, or maybe more than 70, I think it's already considered big councils.
Of course.
What is the strategy to win it?
That's an important question. Look, when you are in such a big room, you're gonna feel overwhelmed.
Exactly.
There's 300 people. What do I do? Who do I talk to? I remember the first time I stood for the first unmoderated caucus in New York, I looked at the room. I was like, where do I go? Yeah. I mean, there's so many people. I don't even know who to go to talk to, And it's all about the strategy. You have to strategize, because it's one thing to be a good MUNer in a 30 delegate room, but it's a whole other thing to be a good MUNer in a 100 delegate room or 150 delegate room. It requires different skill set. The delegates who is good here has to work more to win in a 100 delegate room, because you can have good public speaking skills, you can have good debate skills and so on, but it's easy to put them in use within 30 people. But how do you put them in use when you have 100, 200 people? How do you, if you have a blog that is 10 people, it's easy to work with 10 people in a blog. But how do you work with a blog that is 70 people?
Yeah.
70, which is bigger than the conference you used to be in, right?
Yeah.
When you are 300, the blog used to be around 70.
Yeah.
70 is a whole committee.
How
do you manage 70 people all together? Do you scream? What do you do? So, and this is when I teach the people. I tell them, guys, You have to know which people to approach, how to do the right research. So you have to know a few things about every person in the room related to your delegation, to know who to approach, how to approach, and what to say when. I always say this. My students will recognize this sentence. What to say when.
Okay.
Because
What to say when.
if you know what to say, so you did your research and etc., that's great.
Mhm.
If you know when to say stuff, but you don't know what to say, you're not going to succeed. So you have to know what to say, and you have to know when to say it, because if you say stuff not in the right time, you're not
Alright.
going to win.
Got it.
So I tell them, you learn these things, you do this type of research, you look at the enemies, at the allies of this delegation, and I have very specific points that I tell them to search for. And now I say in the first unmod, try to strategize, start to be friendly with some people, go ahead and do this and do that, and talk in that way, and adjust yourself in that way, and so on. And then you move into more and more strategies, how to dominate and how to make sure you are the one leading basically the room.
Okay, so in short, technically, it's back to our topic, listening and speaking, right? So because again, in the 100 delegates, like you mentioned, know what to say when, right? So know what to say and then when to say it, right? Okay, so but here's the thing, here's the problem. Let's say we already know that's kind of a strategy. Sometimes in the big council, it will be very chaotic, like somehow the unmoderated caucus, everyone for sure want to win, everyone trying to dominate it anyway in the context of MUN. So if let's say in the context 100 of the delegates, everyone want to win, everyone trying to dominate, everyone trying to say everything in a loud voice. So like everyone speaking like delegates, come here. Imagine like 15 people doing that. So in your opinion, how we must adapt ourselves in that kind of situation, or what is the strategy from you?
So this always happens in big conferences. It always happens because
That's
you
the
have
problem.
everyone who's trying to be a team leader. So everyone will scream, "Oh, guys, no, listen to me," or "Guys, listen to that." So I'm gonna give you a very specific, small piece of advice that I used to give to the delegates always, and this is what I told them today in the morning too in the conference. I'm like, guys, look, a 20-minute on-mod passed, for example, today, and it was very inefficient. I told them, guys, everyone was screaming. You guys were trying to do something, but because everyone is trying to lead, no one was able to do anything.
Right.
So the advice was, tell them, look, this block, divide yourselves in sub-blocks. Divide yourself in sub-blocks. Each sub-block will tackle specific topics. For example, tell them, okay, you guys are 20 people. Talking 20 altogether is not going to work. Divide yourself in 4 sub-blocks. Okay. 4 sub-blocks, each sub-block is 5. So 4 times 5 is 20. And then each 5 small team sit next to each other, small circles of 5. Okay.
Right.
And each one's going to tackle a specific topic, a specific subtopic. Sorry. You will tackle technology, you will tackle financials, you will tackle this, you will tackle that. So different subtopics, and then every 10 minutes group all together, and then discuss whatever you like, share all the insights. So it makes it easier, and
Right.
talk in clockwise. Also, for example, I tell them, okay, each one's gonna give his opinion, so listen to each other. And the last point is, there is another sentence that I'm very much known for, and the
Okay,
Masir
you have a lot
scholar-
of standards anyway.
Yeah, because I say that repeatedly because I want them to remember. In order to lead, you have to follow. To be a good leader, you have to be a good follower. So you cannot be a good team leader if you're not a good team worker. It starts by you team working with people. If you know how to teamwork, you know how to team lead. And it happens naturally. And for me, a team leader is a natural team worker. You don't become a team leader.
Yeah.
You are a good team worker. You're here to help everyone. If I'm sitting now in this room helping everyone here, I'll start to help them. And then naturally, they will refer to me. So I'm the one leading them.
Yeah.
This is how a natural leader happens, and this is the best way to lead a committee. Show them trust, help them, they will come to you, and you will be the natural leader in the room.
Yeah.
If you will impose yourself, you will be a dictator. It's not going to work.
All right, but I give you Keisha. So let's say, because we're trying to make a subblock with a specific subtopic, so most likely, so this is the opinion maybe for most of the people.
Yeah, of
we
course.
cannot control them. So how if this subblock going to another block? What do you think about that? That also become the case, like, because technically you cannot really dominate it them 100%. So because by the end of the day, you need a big block to pass the draft resolutions, right? And it's part of the diplomacy. So how we can ensure that this subblock will not going to the another block?
So the best way to do it is you will not directly divide yourself in sub-blocks. Initially, when the block is starting, make sure, it's very important, by the way, for each delegate, to make sure that based on their country, this block fits their ideology. Make sure this block is strong, and this is your block that you want. And when you divide yourself in sub-blocks, you're gonna tackle specific things and specific points that will really represent your country, but also the block's vision. And ultimately, once you do this, and as I said before, every 5 to 10 minutes, you regroup all of you guys together and you solidify everything. Make sure what this small sub-block discussed in technology, everyone is okay with it.
All right.
With this small block in financials, everyone is okay with it, and so on and so forth. Once you're doing all of this back and forth thing, and you're making sure everyone's always okay, you're gonna feel part of your block. And I mean, a delegate wants to be in coordination with his block and in agreement with their block. And once this is happening, they wouldn't want to leave. Other people might want to come to you, which is even better. But if your block is working correctly and you're moving forward, you will never want to leave the block, especially if you have all the resolutions written that align with your country's views. If everything aligns with your country's views, you're going to be okay, basically. And rarely it happens once they are doing this sub-block thing correctly. It rarely happens whenever someone leaves the block. It never usually happens because you're too busy working, you're doing your thing, and you're contributing. You just feel part of it. And if there's anything that is wrong, you would correct it directly. It's easier to correct it because it's dissected. It's different sections.
Yeah.
If you're not okay, it's easy to talk with 4 people.
All right.
While other blocks are 20 people, they're not going to feel okay. They might leave.
All right.
So you might think, oh, it's divide and conquer. I'm going to divide. I'm going to lose people. No, you won't, because you're dividing people to unify them stronger. You're not dividing. You're just separating slowly people for them to become stronger independently, and then group them all together so you become a huge strong block, and people will come to you. No, it's not you going to them, basically.
All right. So yeah. So in the context of the MUN, we have what we call as the draft resolutions, and there is things called sponsor. So in short, for UX, I explained a little bit. Sponsor is like the group of the leaders. So when we talk about the block, and then there is a leader that we choose, we call it a sponsor. So technically, the one that will represent the resolutions of the whole of the people, technically speaking. So the thing is, my questions become sponsor. Do you think it's important or not in the context of a big council?
So. Yes and no.
Yeah, no. Yes, but no. Okay.
So why?
Explain.
Yes, it's important in a sense where you would be showing the chair, for example, oh, look, I'm a sponsor. They want me to represent their block. It's important for me. And it shows also as a sponsor that you are knowledgeable enough of the working paper, of the draft resolution itself. So you know everything. Otherwise, you wouldn't be a sponsor. So that's great. But at the same time, sometimes you might be assigned a very weak country. Sometimes it happens.
Okay.
And as a weak country, the bloc might not want you as a sponsor, and even your position as a sponsor is irrelevant. Like you can't be a sponsor if you're a very weak country, for example.
Okay, got it.
So it's not your fault. A delegate might come up to me and say, Roy, I can't be a sponsor. My country is weak. Well, it's not my fault. Okay, I tell them, don't worry. It's not your fault that your country is weak. Just represent your country correctly and you're good to go. Okay, so this is why it's a yes or no. Yes, it's good. It might give you a push, but if you don't do it, it's not going to jeopardize you, basically.
Okay, so in short, there is a point on that, but chair technically will see very depends on conditions. Because technically, we know during the unmoderated caucus, or let's say this countries is represent 8 countries, for example, which is weak countries not really have a good condition, maybe in the crisis situations. So we can know that, this is actually it's not possible for him or her to become the sponsor, but we acknowledge during the unmoderated caucus, he's doing well, the substance was very good. So we have as considerations to give the awards, right? That's the thing. So now, but the thing is, we discussed around 10 to 15 minutes about the strategy to win in the big council. Most likely rely on unmoderated caucus things, right? But what is actually the impact of the formal debate, which is GSL and moderated caucus? Do you think that in a big council, we just focus on the unmoderated caucus? So let's say we save energy on moderated caucus, we not involve much, and then during unmoderated caucus, we do give all of our energy, or what you think?
So, no, I think it's a mix of multiple motions, not only the GSL. I'm going to tell you why. It's not only, the unmod. Because when you are giving, what's the point of a moderated caucus? The point of, for example, a moderated caucus, it's to tackle all the questions in the karmas, all the questions that were not answered yet. It's to make sure I consider the mods and the GSL, it will help you go horizontally. You will cover as many aspects as you can. And then you go into unmods, and you start jumping vertically into each one of them. You start digging in details. So both are important because it is hard when you are talking with 20 people to be able to tackle several subjects. Usually what happens in the unmod, it's not a waste of time, but we focus too much on one idea and we spend like 10 minutes on it, people talking on one idea. So I consider the unmod the best place for you to dig deep into your beliefs, into your thoughts, into your resolutions for a specific idea. But then you have to go back. After the unmod, the best motion, if it's not going to be an extension for the unmod, would be either a moderated caucus for a new topic that is not treated yet, or a consultation, or a COTW, a consultation of the whole, to make sure so many people are talking. I want to hear many people. And the best thing for a delegate to do here is to take notes. Take notes. Listen to the people. Listen to what they are saying. Because in the next unmod, you can go ahead and talk about what they mentioned. So my view would be, when the conference starts and the flow is going on, we do the unmod, go back, do mod. So new mod, new subject. And then unmod, we discover this subject. And then we jump into unmod. And then maybe another mod. And then we dig deep into them in the unmod. And that's the best way to do it. That's the best way. Because the unmod, there's not just to say random things. Although the unmod, by the way, is the most important and motion. And it's the hardest, by the way, emotion, I think.
Agree.
Because when you give a speech, everyone will listen to you. You don't have to be a good public speaker. Everyone is not talking. You're the one having the mic. You're giving a speech during the moderated caucus or during the GSL. So it's easy to be listened because they must listen to you, right? They're just sitting and not talking. But in the unmod, no, you have to know how to talk. And you're not gonna have 60 seconds to give a speech. You might have 10 seconds, maybe 5 seconds. Someone's gonna interrupt you. So you have to know how to dominate and how to lead in the room. So ultimately, it's really a mix of all these motions that a delegate good at unmod, good at mod, good at XYZ will become overall a good diplomat. It's really a mix of everything all together. It's not only one motion that makes the delegate, basically.
All right. So, okay. There's a lot of questions that I receive also talking about, Coach, I am an introvert. I don't think so I can doing unmoderated caucus. Can I just focus on my speech? What do you think about that? Especially an introvert, how we can compete in the context of unmoderated caucus, because it's very overwhelming, like it takes a lot of energy.
So to answer the question, can you only focus on your speech? Unfortunately, no. You cannot only focus on your speech and consider yourself a winner in MUN, because the best way to spot good delegates is in the unmod also.
Exactly.
Because in the unmod, okay, when you give a speech, the speech you can prepare it at home. You can prepare the speech. You can, maybe sometimes you can write it in the conference.
Even they prepare a hook.
Yeah, I know.
Printed.
They have a whole thing ready. But in the unmod, you're not sit down and read in the unmod. In the unmod, you have to act. In the unmod, it's the action. So if you have to be ready for action, and this is a good delegate. A delegate is who's ready for action, who can adapt and be proactive in the room. So you have to be good at unmod. Now, if you're an introvert, that always happens, and you always start somewhere. So my advice would be, if anyone's watching or anyone's an introvert who's starting Model UN, join small conferences, small committees potentially. Start with a smaller committee. Get yourself used to a room of 30 people, a block of 10 delegates. You will feel much at ease when you see just like 5, 6, 7 people around you. And then slowly but surely, go to harder conferences, harder committees, bigger committees, and so on. So it's really about knowing how to select your committee, and that's an important thing. And there's a reason why when you advertise, you always put the level of the committee. It's a beginner level, a junior level, a senior, etc. So join not only beginner level, but also try to join small committees to get yourself out there, to get yourself in the room, understand how things are going. You read the room, you get the flow of debate, and etc. Slowly but surely, you climb up difficulty and you climb up with the size. And that's how it goes. And naturally, you're going to be able to impose yourself in the room. It's going to be hard. At some point, you're going to feel like, oh, now the block suddenly became tripled. It used to be 10. Now the block is 30 delegates. Well, that's fine. Get yourself out there. Put yourself outside the circle, as we always say, outside the comfort zone. And you will learn. And you will see an exponential progress.
Yeah, exactly. Especially in the big council.
Yeah.
Not sometimes. It's always very exhausted because during the lunch break, during the coffee break, technically it's not coffee break. Technically it is unmoderated caucus with food.
But although it should be a break, but it's an unmod with food.
Unmoderated caucus with food.
True,
like
true.
Even after the committee session, if we have like 2 days conference, the night is not a free time.
Oh yeah.
It's like just unmoderated caucus. Outside of the council.
In pajamas, basically.
With pajamas, right?
So yeah, I agree. Look, I try to tell my delegates all the time. I tell them, guys, I need you to rest. I need you to rest. Don't work in the break. But I always say it, but I always see them working. I always say that. I always see them
Bro,
working.
be honest with me. You also do it. Like during MUN break, it's technically unmoderated caucus with food.
To be very honest, yes.
Yes, right?
It's what I like to call it. It's a lobbying session. It's where
Yeah, correct. It's
you might
lobbying
not be
sessions.
really working on your laptop, but rather you're looking around, you're talking, who's talking with who. Oh, you might go and approach your chair when your chair is eating. You might go talk with the chair.
Exactly.
You wanna like be friends with people and etc. So it's a way to network and a certain way to lobby to just prepare yourself for the next session. And I mean, I can understand. I mean, we were there. I used to do it sometimes. I used to lobby in the break. Sometimes I used to skip my meal just to be able to lobby with some delegates. And yeah, it's part of the game.
Yeah. So this is requiring a lot of energy. Like it's required. Even I'll be honest with you, I'm quite an extrovert person, but yeah, during that kind of the situation, my energy is very draining, right? So in your opinion, how we do practice to prepare for that? You already mentioned like doing step by step, like from 30 delegates into 50, make it step by step. But beside of that, is there any things that we can do to make sure that we can prepare our energy, we can prepare ourselves to something that a big council? Because like in context of GMMUN, we will do have hundreds of delegates. Not only GMMUN, a big conference at Harvard MUN, Yale MUN, that's mentioning a big MUN. There will be like 200, 300 delegates, like you mentioned. So how we can prepare ourselves for that?
Now, the simple answer, I would say, consider the break a break and not a lunch with a non-mod with a lunch. That's a good way to rest. But look, in reality, it's true. When you start scaling slowly but surely, like you start with small councils, we discussed the double delegation also. Sometimes being in a double delegation makes you feel more comfortable because you're with someone who you know, or your co-delegate. And it's more comfortable because you can divide the work. Someone's going to give the speech, someone's going to do this in the on-mod, someone's going to do that. So you might feel more at ease and you have someone who you're going to share things with. So this is maybe another advice. Now, the problem with double delegation is I don't like delegates to start in a double delegation, their MUN journey, because they're going to be used to it. And then once you're going to go alone in a room, you're not going to know how to be able to do everything.
The game is different, single delegates and double
so
delegates.
I say start slow, maybe start in a one-day conference, possibly. Start in a one-day conference and a two-day conference where it's a beginner level and small committee. And once you want to go more and more in volume, try to go to a bigger conference, harder level, and then start double delegation also.
Yeah.
For example, the one in New York, I told you it's a 5-day conference and it's so long and it's huge, but it's a double delegation. So I had someone with me all the time. So sometimes I'm the one preparing the speech and my co-delegate is, for example, preparing what to do in the on-mod and vice versa. She's sending notes, I'm preparing a speech. In the on-mod, I'm going around talking with several blocks. She's sitting with our block and she's writing resolutions and so on. So this is really the way it goes. You divide the work. And also you can do it at a certain extent once you can do everything in MUN alone and it's time to scale. So you're good at a small committee, you're good at a small level, at beginner level. You want to make it harder. You can start with, a big conference, double delegation. So I just get a taste of what it feels like. And then let me do it now alone. Now let me do it alone, but in a harder level. Let me go to, and let me do it internationally. Let me start traveling. For people watching in East Asia also, who there's a lot of conferences happening around the regions. And this is how basically you can build what we call like your baby steps, stepping stone,
Yeah, okay. So before that, I will give you a context first, guys. So in MUN, we have a single delegate and double delegate. In case you don't know yet, single delegates mean you are the one and only that represent that country. So for example, Spain is only you, Ukraine is only you, but a double delegate technically is a team. So you have a couple. So two people represent one country.
Yes.
It is a teamwork, technically speaking, right? The game will be different, but yeah, double delegates most likely is not a good thing to start in MUN, by the way. I agree with that, because therefore, actually, the double delegate usually in advanced council, like UNSC, right? Crisis, sometimes, like, so, yeah, because the level was different, like, all right. Okay, now let's move on about the strategy winning on the big council. So now I want to talk about your personal reflections. So after years doing MUN, beside of you mentioning about the public speakings, about the skills. Then, so what else that maybe you get from the MUN that you never imagined before?
I'll make it very simple. MUN made me a good engineer.
Oh yeah,
As simple as that.
how come?
How come? Because when you're curious enough to join committees, when you're curious enough to search topics in committees that you never thought of, I mean, when you join MUN, you go to new committees every single time. You have new topics that you start searching for. So you start learning about so many new things, which is very good. I'm talking beyond public speaking, negotiation, all these soft skills. There's this sense of curiosity where joining a new committee pushes you to do more research about new topics. And I mean, engineering is all about problem solving, but also about creativity.
Yeah,
As an engineer, I have to know how to build my way through. That's what we say in engineering. You have to solve the problem one way or another. So you have to be creative. You have to know how to deal with things. So in MUN, this is one thing I learned. When I learned so many things about so many different topics, MUN learned me to put myself out there, to challenge myself. And in engineering, you always have to challenge the problem. When you're building something, you want to challenge it as much as you can to make sure it's at the best shape possible and the safest place possible, and so on. So you have to challenge things all the time. You have to do the devil's advocate. And MUN teaches you sometimes
Exactly.
to do this.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And this is part of it. As simple as that. MUN taught me to be a good engineer. Someone who's watching, MUN might teach you how to be a good doctor, a good chef, a good janitor, a good astronaut, a good teacher. Whatever your passion is, there's something to learn in Model UN that's going to take you to your professional field later on.
Agree. So the thing is, it is about the long-term impact, because you usual to solve the problem. You can see the problem and then trying to find the solution, something like that, and you can apply it on the engineering context. For me personally, there's something that I'm not expected from MUN is the networking, bro.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah, because I do MUN a long of time, like it's almost 10 years for me. So now in my level, in my age, most of my MUN friends is already someone. So I have friends with a very amazing background. Some of them is, the influencer have the big reach. Some of them already have the company and so on and so forth. So the networking was very strong. Even technically, we can connect to MUN, right? Technically speaking.
That's how things started. That's a very good point. I mean, the reason why we're doing this podcast is thanks to MUN.
Yeah.
I mean, I had the passion for Model UN, you had yours, and MUN connected us last year, and that's where we are, So, and I never thought in my life that I'm gonna have that many friends in all these corners of the planet. I mean, now if I want to go to Latin America, I have friends there.
Exactly.
If I go anywhere in Europe, I have friends there.
Exactly.
If I go to East Asia, I have my people in East Asia. I mean, tomorrow I'm going for dinner with some friends in Indonesia.
Yeah.
I never thought I'm gonna have friends in Indonesia. Indonesia is the other side of the planet.
Yeah.
It's like so far away. It's like, and Lebanon is the other side of the planet compared to Indonesia.
Yeah.
And somehow I still manage to have friends in Philippines, friends in Indonesia, and even here in Indonesia, I've met people from Singapore, people from Malaysia.
Exactly.
And it's amazing meeting that many people. And actually, you're right. This is, I think, the best thing out of MUN.
Yeah.
The best thing is, if I'm not going to mention the soft skills,
It's network.
I'm going to mention the global network. And I mean, you don't know who you're meeting. You might now, if someone is 15 years old, might travel, I might come here and do an MUN, and co-delegate here with you, your friend might become your new co-founder of a company later on. I mean, you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know how things happen. Like the world is very small. You don't know how things connect.
Exactly.
The first time I came to Indonesia and to East Asia, it was in April 2025. First time ever coming to Philippines. I thought it was my first and last time.
To Philippines.
Yeah, to East Asia.
To East Asia.
I was like, it's so far away. It's my first time coming, and I'm not. No, I thought I will never get an opportunity to come again. The next thing you know, I came in August, and then I came in October, and then I came in December, and then in January, and now I'm here. And then it became a recurrent thing, and now I have friends here. I go to their house. They're very close with them. They check up on me. We video call sometimes.
Okay.
So it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really agree on that. But the thing is, besides of the MUN, actually I've joined another competition, another activities. I joined the debate, paper, a lot of competition. I try a lot because I'm trying to explore myself back then. But I don't think so that in other competitions I find the networking as strong as the MUN. I don't know why. What do you think? Why? Do you join another competition of program anyway beside of MUN during your college time? A lot, right? I believe.
Yeah,
You
I've been
try
part
something.
yes, I've been part of many. I've been some maybe engineering related. I've been maybe in some case competitions, stuff in consulting and etc. And I've been in debate clubs and etc. too. I've been in debate clubs, and the aspect of MUN. I mean, what is MUN? It stands for Model United Nation, and it's about all the nations worldwide.
Mhm.
And there's nothing such as Model UN that unites all the nations all together. And this is why MUN is that global. And I mean, there's no country that I've been to that doesn't know MUN. Go to any country in the world, MUN I think is the only field and the only specific type of job that people would know. Like if you know you work in a kind of specific company, I don't mean engineering. I mean a specific type of company in Indonesia. Go to Philippines and tell them I work in this company. Say the name. They might not know the name of the company. Go to another place. If you work in a huge company in the US, maybe here we don't know the name of the company.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
MUN in general, if you say MUN, people know what you're referring to. People understand it right away. And now if I go ahead and tell you, oh, I have a friend, he works in biomedical engineering, in tissue engineering, and I tell
Yeah.
you something,
Yeah.
you might not get what they're doing. But okay, that's very specific. I don't know what they're doing, right? But everywhere you go, you say Model UN, they're gonna know what is Model UN. Everyone
Yeah.
knows MUN. I mean, everyone knows the UN. It's the United Nations. All the countries in the world are part of the United Nations.
Yeah.
So you know, if you know UN, you know the model of the UN because it's a simulation that we do. So
Yeah.
and it's great. This
Yeah.
is why it's international. This is why it's global.
Yeah. Yeah. Even though there is a joke actually, United Nations is not really united.
I agree. I should not say that I agree, but I agree. I mean, I remember once a friend of mine said once in a speech, she started her speech by saying, "The United Nations. We were never that divided." And that's true. That is true.
Yeah.
We are some people say the divided nations, and it's unfortunate, but especially coming from a country where there's a lot of geopolitical problems. I mean, where's the United Nations? They're not really solving the problem. They're not doing the
exactly.
job. They're not
Exactly.
doing what they allegedly claim they are doing.
Yeah, because I ever heard actually from a diplomat. They said that United Nations is like you writing in the sky, which
yeah.
is nothing. Because by the end of the day, all of the agreement and everything is non-binding, most likely. Like, yeah.
It's unfortunate, but it's true.
Yeah, but it's true. Yeah, okay. It's another topic. It's another different
Oh,
topic.
yeah, that's
but
another
it will be another podcast to talk about it,
Of
right?
course, of
Okay,
course.
now will be the last things, the last questions. Anyway, we already talked almost an hour for this podcast. So can you please give message to the people, to the delegates, to young generations that currently hear and watch our podcast today? So, what is your message to them? Especially if it is the first time in joining MUN and they're still shy, afraid of it. What do you want to say?
Wow. So I'm gonna look to my camera to give my final words.
Sure.
So guys, everyone watching at home, if you're a boy or a girl, if you're 10, you're 7, you're 12, you're 15, you're 35 years old, regardless of your age, your background, your race, your skin color, your beliefs, anything. The only purpose we have on this earth is to leave a footprint before we leave. And the best thing to do is to leave an impact. To leave an impact, you have to work on your character. And that's the most important thing. So my advice to you is, please be proactive, ask questions, seek help and knowledge, embrace the challenges. But most importantly, cherish the experiences along the way. I mean, the best thing to do is to learn from your experiences. And there's something I always say. Every mistake, every problem, every obstacle you face, consider that there's 10 good things that are happening.
Yeah.
So the more problems you face, the better things that are coming. And I mean, I remember when I was 12 years old in high school, a professor gave me an advice. I remember getting a bad grade in history. I still remember this. And my professor told me, Roy, it's by taking a step back that you jump further. In reality, in sports, how do you jump further? You have to take, the more steps back you take, the further you jump. Now, don't take a lot of steps back because you might fall down. But at some point, you're going to be able to jump further the more you take steps. So this is the essence of what we do. And this is the essence of the Global Gavel. This is the purpose of Globy MUN and GM MUN. And this is what I really try to teach everyone around the world. It's to be, in one word, this is the skill that matters to me the most. It's not being strong, not being active. And so it's one word, it's anti-fragile. Anti-fragility is, by the way, it was developed by a guy called Nassim Nicholas Taleb. So Nassim is a Lebanese author, and he's very much known in the US, who's a cousin of mine. Anti-fragility means when a lot of problems are happening to you, you might feel you're fragile. The opposite of fragility, in my eyes, is not being strong. It's anti-fragile, which means take this weakness, take these problems that are happening to you, and try to use them to cherish them along the way to push you forward. So when I feel I'm pressured, when I feel people are mocking me, when I feel I'm too shy to do something in the room, do it and use this as a strength for you. Turn this weakness into strength, into a motivation to prove yourself wrong. To prove yourself wrong, because you are your biggest obstacle. Your mind is your biggest obstacle. And once you really put yourself in this situation where you understand, you switch your mind where I want to make more, I want to do more, I want to make noise. This is how you become successful.
Amazing. Okay, so
Yeah.
to recap, guys, in short, what Roy say, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great.
Oh,
and thank you
yes.
for joining our podcast. Roy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
My bro.
It's a pleasure.
Yes, and this is our round of the podcast, and see you again in the next episode. Bye bye.